Alrighty, starting off the second game, Gretna on the blue side, South Sioux City on red. Gretna again 4-1. South Sioux City is 6-3. And so starting off ban phase, banning Olaf and Yon right off the bat. And Seraphine again. Seraphine bans those charms from the first game that we saw in the Division 2 game from Wayne. Those Seraphine ults hit about 2 to 3 people every fight, and so it was a great lead on that. Yon's another one that is very good at crowd control and just all around. And then Wukong, again, very good at crowd control and can just keep them in the air, keep them just stalled where they are, knocked up. And then we see the Narban coming in for that top laner. And Nar is also just another champion right now that has just been very good. And he's just the amazing crowd control that you get from Mega Gnar, just the stun and then the ult, the knockback. If it's into a wall, then it stuns. Here we see another Rammus played. And then followed by the response pick of Malphite. And so Malphite will probably be the top laner. He can also be taken into the jungle. Another Leona. We've seen Leona a lot today. In most games, even in Division 2, Leona was another support that was just played quite a bit. See a Swain from Gretna's side.
That'll be interesting.
Glad you could join us for this game, Nat.
Just super glad to be here, you know? Just it's the Orn pick that brought me back. The
hmm
potential
The
Orn
potential
pick
Ornn pick.
that
No,
brought me
I
back. See?
definitely
I
agree.
called it. How I knew? I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Maybe it's because he hovered it, but I wouldn't go that far though. You know? And here we have. Do we know which?
So in the second banning phase, we have an Aphelios for the ban from Sioux City, and then Viger ban from Gretna. And so because of the Viger ban, it leads me to believe that Swain is the mid laner. Recently, Swain's been played a lot in the bot lane. But there was a Z ban, so I don't know if Sioux City knows or not where Swain's going at the moment. He is a very fluctual pick, kind of depending on what the team needs.
And there is a Silas ban. And from the reactions in the room, it seems like Sioux City is quite upset by it.
So
Ooh.
there's a Cho'Gath, probably that again can also just like Malphite be played jungle or top, kind of just depending on the needs of the team.
Mhm.
And so from what I see, I would probably put Cho'Gath against Ornn
Mhm.
right now. And so Victor, so it does it Victor is also another champion that I have seen in the bot lane, not very commonly played in the bot lane, but it is still an option.
True.
Most likely, though, Swain will end up being ADC and Victor will end up being in the mid, but it kind of just depends on wherever they want to go.
Oh, and there's the Senna.
And so
All
there's the
right.
Senna, and again, it looks like the Rammus is going against a lot of AD. I'm expecting Malphite to just kind of go more tanky builds and have Cho'Gath go a lot more just hybrid where it's
Mhm.
half AP, half tank. But we'll see as the game goes on just kind of how they decide, how the players decide to build their champions. And so we see an Irelia will end up going mid for Sioux City.
Alrighty. And so here you have Gretna, like I said before, 4-1. You already said it, man. Should really be here. Should have been here sooner, shouldn't I?
Should have been here sooner. But
Isn't
that's
that
alright, we got
important?
you here
I
now.
got here, and that's what matters. Doesn't matter when you get here, just that you show up.
Hmm.
Isn't that right, Caleb?
Participation. Participation.
Honestly, that's really what it's all about, you know?
Better late than never.
Exactly, exactly. And let's see how these teams take better late than never in this game. You know, you never know, because that flank from the left, better late than
Could be
never.
better late than never. True, true.
And here we are again in spectator
Spectator delay.
delay. So usually I ask you about the team, about your match, about the matchups, how you think it'll go. But I have a switch up. How's your day been, Caleb?
My day has been pretty alright. I know
Yeah.
that your team won in the Division
Mhm.
2. They
Our
took state
team. Our
home,
team.
but and so we're both pretty excited for that,
Mhm.
pretty happy
Mhm.
about that. To be completely honest, I did not expect them to win. After I saw the 8-0 broken bow,
Yeah.
I was kind of worried,
I get that. I get that. I get that.
but
And
they played
especially
really well.
since our team has played like just fewer matches.
Mhm.
They've just played fewer matches. So it was such like a toss up in the air. And then Wayne coming out on top, and especially against Holdridge at the end, who completely wiped the floor with Amherst in their
Mhm.
game.
Holdridge played fantastically that
Mhm.
first game,
Mhm.
and they just didn't carry that momentum over
Mhm.
into the
Mhm.
second game,
Mhm.
into the Wayne versus Holdridge match, and Wayne was just able to kind of be the underdog.
Honestly, especially Wayne, I've said it before, but Wayne has barely been a team for
Mhm.
not even this entire season. We've come
Mhm.
out like scheduling issues, just all kinds of things that are would seem would hold us back, only for us to take top of the leaderboard. Isn't that crazy?
Yep, and so they did end up taking that dub against Holdridge, winning the thing. And in their first tournament, though, they did end up getting third place, and I'd
Mhm.
completely forgotten about that
Mhm.
they played against Broken Bow again today
Mhm.
and Holdridge today. That they were really just a lot. Not gonna lie, they were a lot better team than I gave them credit for. Even
I
my
get
own
that. I get
team.
that. I get that. Honestly, the teamwork they've displayed today, it was just above and beyond what I could have imagined as a coach. And it's honestly, it's what I hope that they would be.
Mm-hmm.
Just how they worked together. There was like even behind the scenes, there was no flaming at each other. It was nothing but positive words to each
Yeah,
other.
no, it was incredible how they turned that around and got
Mhm.
first.
So I feel like this is an inspiration even for other schools, other teams,
Mm-hmm.
that even when it looks like you're behind, even when the other team has better stats than you, has a better score than you can always, always, always
Mm-hmm.
come out on top.
Yeah, and so we're getting towards the last 10 seconds of the spectator delay, hoping to jump into the game as soon as possible, and I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. So don't say that.
So that's the end of our spectator delay, hopping into the rift right now with Gretna and with South Sioux City. Let's just readjust the scoreboard. And honestly, I don't know where to put the Swain quite
Just
yet.
yet. Right.
He does look that he's going to be ADC and then down with a Senna support, because that will just be quite a bit of damage
Oh,
for
it's Senna
them.
ADC.
Senna ended up taking Doran's Blade.
Mm-hmm.
And so she will end up going ADC with a Swain support.
Mm-hmm. And then Victor mid. Oh
I
wow.
did not expect that.
How the turntables.
Because either way, they're going to have a lot of damage bot lane. There was a little bit of poke on the Viger from
Mm-hmm.
the Malphite. And so both Irelia and Malphite are going corrupting potions first. And so they'll have just a lot of sustain in lane. And hopefully the Irelia can out-sustain the damage that Victor is going to give off. Because early, Victor is kind of a lane bully.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to know, you really have to know how to play him in order to bully with him, though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing. I've never been able to play Victor quite as well as others.
Or
And
well at all.
so, yeah, well, I
Yeah,
haven't
let's
been
be real
playing,
with the
yeah,
viewers
let's be
here.
real. I haven't been able to play him well at all. And so I kind of stay away from that champion,
Me too, though.
both in the mid and in the bot lanes. I'll stick to my Nautilus support.
But your Nautilus support is clean.
It
It's
really
clean.
is.
It's clean.
Not to pat myself on the back, but pat.
Plat two. Hmm.
Plat 1.
Oh,
Hit
excuse me.
hit Plat
Sorry.
1 last
Plat
night.
one. Plat one.
So we see a lot of poking from the
Mhm.
Irelia, but unfortunately he is missing a lot of poking from the Victor onto the Irelia, but that will force him to miss just a few CS early game.
We're even having tiny skirmishes up top, and it seems that Ornn is coming out just ever so on the edge on top.
And so
Here we have
Irelia
another
is going in for
skirmish.
that quick damage. Swain getting that pull. Leon under
Ooh.
tower, but will they catch the Swain? He flashes out of there and he lives. But that is a flash down on
Mhm.
Swain early,
And
and so that will
also a
be a
heal
very
on
good fight.
Senna.
Also a heal on Senna, and so that takes out two summoner spells from the bot lane on Gretna's side.
This is leaving them pretty exposed.
Especially with a Leona Zaya
Mhm.
of quite a bit of damage. Is she gonna find that Victor mid? She gets
And
the
is this
ignite
it?
off. Will the last tick kill him? He
And
ends up
he seems to
surviving with barely
live.
held in any health.
Wow. Wow.
That was quite a good just hidden E stun
Mhm.
from Irelia. Just finding that stun onto Victor, engaging fully, and igniting him. He did flash out though,
Mhm.
and so that's one summoner spell. Victor does have teleport, and so Irelia does just kind of win these early trades. She might get a kill early, but Victor's kind of just looking for that lane, just farm until late game. Irelia is up about 8 CS though at the moment.
Even in the bot lane, like we said before, you can't forget Leona is 4 CS up on Swain. So how this
The
will affect the game
support,
further? See,
yeah, the support
the
CS,
support CS, many times overlooked. In my
as it
opinion, the
should
most
be.
important aspect of the game.
Well, it's a great thing we did not ask for your opinion.
Wow. Wow.
But the Zaya and Leona with Cho'Gath in the jungle, looking for that Scuttle Crab, setting up for Dragon, hoping to get that early drag that might spawn in 40 seconds. That will spawn in 40 seconds.
Are you not sure?
Not entirely, because
No.
now it's
It's
35.
reading the timer is hard.
hmm
I understand. I understand.
And so bots kind of keep the pressure up. That was a really good
Wow.
Q
And this
by
is common, and they're
Swain.
looking
Good
for the
combos
Zaya.
on
Oh,
both Senna and Swain. Malphite looking for the Ornn. Ornn dashes away. Malphite tries to keep up, but slowed, and so he backs off.
again, it just seems like luck is really on Gretna's side today. They've been making some quite the narrow escapes today.
Both just with the Ignite onto Victor. And Cho'Gath looking for a dash. Gets seen by the Swain. Swain gets caught by Leona. E from Zaya. Does not catch him with the root. He gets first blood
But
on Zaya quickly after he gets killed. They're looking for the Cho'Gath.
mhm,
Rammus does end up getting that kill on Cho'Gath.
wow.
Swain, I'm surprised that he got first blood right
Mhm.
before he fell.
Mhm. And this does make it 2-1 for Gretna, with Gretna in a slight gold lead of about
500
Point
for,
five
yeah,
k
point 0.5.
0.5k-ish.
And so Senna did get 2 assists on that fight down bot, and so she does have a little bit more gold. We see that she bought a Noon Quiver while Zaya
Mhm.
bought a pickaxe, and so Zaya will have just a tiny bit, maybe 5 more attack damage than that Senna right now. But Senna will have a little bit more attack speed, and so it evens out quite well on both sides.
And it's looking like that across the board. Sioux City overall seems to be up just a tiny bit on
So
CS.
looking for the Victor, get the stun gets off, the knock gets off, silenced. Victor ults, but to no avail. He does end up falling to that Irelia. That was a great gank by Cho'Gath, chaining
Beautiful.
the knock up with the silence right away.
And it does look like Sioux City is looking for that early dragon at 6 minutes 37.
Since they applied pressure bot and killed the mid laner, there's not much that Gretna can do against this. You saw Swain just kind of do a little poke on Zaya and show, and then there is the first Cloud Drake, first dragon of this game going to Sioux City. So overall, we see things are pretty even in regards to CS. The Irelia is up about 10 CS on the Victor, but Senna is up about another 12, 13 CS on the Zaya. Little scrimmage up top, leaving both at about 50% HP. But it looks like I think Malphite might have slightly won that just because actually both now have corrupting potions.
Ooh, and there's another bot fight breaking out.
There's the catch on the Leona, leaving her at a little bit less than half health. That extra pull that Swain gets, like that we just saw, is just that's really damaging them.
And
And
that
they
is a
find the pick
kill for
on
Senna.
Zaya, kill for Senna with the ultimate.
And it really is looking like that combo
The
is working.
dash E from Irelia, stunned by Victor. Irelia does end up finding the kill and getting out of there. That
Wow.
was a pretty clean
Mhm.
that was a pretty clean E flash ult combo. Just one right after the other from the Irelia. Played that really well and is getting a little bit more and more lead on the Victor as time goes on.
It really does seem like those risky moves on Aurelia's part are really paying off.
She has been very risky this game,
Mhm.
going for a little bit more cheeky kills, going for
Mhm.
style points, but it's worked out so far.
And here's Cho'Gath and the top lane, maybe looking to gank the Ornn.
Slowed, knocked up by the Malphite. Malphite looks like he could handle this, but the flash from Ornn barely escaping, silence from Cho'Gath, and this Q from Malphite
And that is
ends up getting the kill
Malphite's
on
first
the
kill.
Ornn.
And this should also put Malphite over the edge on some CS even more,
hmm
as he's getting a chance to push ahead, push out.
Kristen Tower, because that is a big wave going
hmm
into Ornn's tower right now. He does have TP up, and so he probably will be able
TP,
to keep it. He's
and
teleporting
there it
behind with the
is.
Rammus, looking for that kill, but doesn't get it. Malphite retreats too fast, and he will end up losing some CS because of that. And so there's a big wave also in the mid lane. Irelia will probably be able to take care of that. In the bot lane, Senna has gotten a little bit more ahead, especially on CS, sitting at about 16 CS above the Zaya. We see the
And there we have
TP
a
from
TP bot
Malphite
from
into the bot,
Malphite.
and
And that's Q from
Swain's
Senna.
Zonias. Unfortunately, they might find both of them. It looks like Senna might get out. Unfortunately, Swain does it. Senna going back in, seeing if she can get that Malphite, but he escapes. And so Ornn will get a few turret plates up
hmm
top because of that. but they did get a kill on Swain in the bot lane. And so, honestly, Malphite didn't even get an assist on that because he went after Senna. And so, while it was still worth, because it forced the Swain back into the Xayah and the Leona, it was just unfortunate that he did not get that assist,
Truly,
and a lot of his turret plates, two of his turret plates were
truly.
taken.
And with Drake coming up again in about 40 seconds, I wonder how this will turn out because Sioux City just seems overall better prepared. They have Scuttle down bot, they have a pink ward in Pixel. Meanwhile, Blue does have a ward up there in that side bush down bot, but oh, and one in the pit. Overall, it just seems like on the map, especially mid, red team Sioux City is just having prio. So,
So Irelia is in the top of her lane, looking for another little cheesy pick
but
on
she
the
misses the
Victor.
stun.
She misses stun. Rammus looks like he's engaging. Irelia ult down. She's dashing, trying to avoid that Victor ult. Victor ends up finding him. Rammus did get the kill credits. Victor will have to back, and Rammus is caught in the jungle. Senna ult shields him, but unfortunately he still falls, and that will possibly be another dragon for Sioux City
Hmm.
because that smite advantage that they have now that Rammus is dead.
And they are dragging it out, and Senna and Swain are looking to maybe do something about it, but I don't think that there's anything that they can do. They might be looking for that cheesy steal, and they miss.
Unfortunately, it was smited by the Cho'Gath. And so Cho'Gath is another person that it's very hard to outsmite because his ult does 1000 damage to epic monsters.
Hmm.
And then on top of that, he also has smite. And so he can really smite it at like 1500 health instead of
Hmm.
the normal 500 health. So Irelia is kind of keeping her lead, keeping her CS lead especially about a little bit over 20 CS, now exactly 20 CS above the Victor.
And we're looking
Ornn might
here
be
for that
found by the
Ornal.
Irelia. Ornn ult gets two of them, but he ends up falling. Victor coming in, hopefully to clean up, gets the kill
Oh,
on Malphite.
and could this possibly be a double
Irelia
kill?
looking to escape, gets taunted by Rammus. E finds Rammus, but he falls to the Victor.
So he ends that fight with a clean double kill, making him 2, 2, and 1 with 150 gold bounty on his head. He's slowly but surely he is catching up to the Aurelia. Aurelia, she is still ahead in CS, but at this point, if he keeps picking up kills, he might turn the tides on that one.
Yeah, and so Irelia can still probably 1v1 him in lane at this
Hmm.
point if they keep kind of staying the same. Oh, the Cho'Gath knockup finds Senna, followed by a silence and then a slow. Eaten by the Cho'Gath, that smite. Swain might get caught too, and he ends up dying to that Xayah.
That was a very close call for Zaya, just a little bit more further in, and that would have been over for her. But she dodged just in time.
Leona's still keeping her perfect KDA 005. Hasn't died quite yet in this game.
Still ahead in CS.
Still, yes, still ahead in CS, as my friend Nat has pointed out.
Again, the most important part about the game.
Unfortunately, though, Xayah is not ahead in CS, down by about nearly 30 now, behind the Senna. Senna sitting at 98, Xayah sitting at about 70.
And it is looking like this.
And so there's three top now, four top with Leona, and looking for that Victor behind, going in from behind. The Aurelia
With
comes in, flash ult,
ult.
doesn't quite find the stun
Ah,
on the E. Victor with this phase rush is very fast and can just keep running after he hits three spells, three attacks. Trying to find that Zaya down bot. Zaya dodges the Sen ult, but unfortunately dies to an auto attack after jumping up.
Her auto attacks are just too strong. She has a full item and full boots. And it's just she's up way too much, almost about 30 CS up on the Zaya. And at this point, it's just she does too much damage.
Especially with the Kraken Slayer, that third
Mhm.
stack on the Kraken Slayer is a
Mhm.
lot of damage, and because of just Senna, how she's played, getting first turret, that'll help a lot. But because of just how Senna's played and how her auto attacks are slower, but they do a lot of damage,
Mhm.
with the Kraken Slayer third stack on top of that, that is quite a bit. And she wants to get more attack speed, looking for a Rage Blade, buying a Rage Knife. But with that, she buys an Agility Cloak, and the way that Rage Knife's passive works is it sacrifices critical strike chance that
Okay.
the cloak will give you in order to do a little bit more damage. And so it converts to 68 more physical damage that Senna will get right now.
Wow, I did not know that. Thank you for the lessons, Coach Caleb.
That is what I'm here for. So we see a little squabble. Unfortunately, Malphite did miss the Q on Ornn, hit a minion, but he still has more health than him.
Ornn is sitting at about half health. It is looking quite unfortunate because I feel any fights that will ensue between the two of them will be easily won by the Malphite at this point.
So we're looking for a four-man engage here. I don't know if Sioux City knows that Rammus is sitting there. Rammus just showed now, so they definitely do. Getting ready for that third dragon, and this fight will be soul point.
Mhm.
The Malphite does teleport,
And
followed shortly by the Ornn teleport. It's looking like a 5v5 at the drag pit. The
ooh, and they get the
Malphite gets
pick.
caught out by Victor. Ornn misses the
His ult.
second part of the ult. That would have been a
Wow,
huge
crucial.
knockup. Zaya does end up falling to the Rammus. Rammus gets a double kill on the Leona, and then Victor finds that Aurelia for that 4-0 fight.
And it seems like Gretna is finally getting their first dragon, making Sioux City miss Soul Point. So that was a great fight on their part.
And that's just a lot of pressure that's taken off bot lane,
Mhm.
because just once that soul point, like I've said last match, just that soul point is very important, and a lot of people will want a B bot. Probably that will probably be another 5v5 at Dragon Pit once it's soul point.
Mhm.
So now we see people kind of spreading back all over the map, going to their respective lanes. Irelia back in the mid lane, 13 CS above Victor, kind of keeping that lead, but Victor did catch up in kills. He has a 500, 450 bounty now. And he's caught up in kills, caught up in money too. He's gotten his mythic item, while Irelia has only gotten a Blade of the Ruined King. So
So
they
it
do
really
pop
is looking
Rift
up.
mid though. Looking for that first turret. Looking for that second turret, actually. First turret went to Gretna. They do end up finding that second turret, that first tier mid
Mhm.
turret with Rift. And Irelia, it looks like she might be trying to go top. Unfortunately, she might be seen by that ward in that side bush. Yep, and we saw Ornn back off just a little bit. Wasted Irelia's time for Senna to kind of get that CS. It looks like the bot and mid swapped on Gretna's side, and now Victor is in the bot lane.
Okay. This would really provide some pressure up mid for Sioux City. Having no, for Gretna, sorry. Having their ADC and support up mid. This might be a good chance to kind of keep that Irelia off and just have her put less pressure on the lane.
So we see that there's a fight in mid lane. Swain ends up getting the kill on Aurelia. Senna finds that root on Leo, kills her with the Q. Swain picks
Pulls her back
off
in.
again on Zaya. That extra pullback just pulling her back into that
Hmm.
Senna range.
It just really seems like the heavy CC in the bot lane on Gretna's side has really been just the doom of Sioux City. Just the Swain pull into the Senna W.
hmm
Just.
And Swain can pull on the slows that Senna gives,
Hmm.
and that can just get people out of position really easily, especially if it is just followed by that route, and they're pulled out of position and
Hmm.
they stay out of position too. And there's really just no escaping for them after they get that hooked.
Honestly. Alrighty, I was just told to talk louder, something I've never ever heard before. And there you have it, another scrimmage in the top lane, and it does seem like
It's a
Victor was
TP
TPing
from
him
Victor,
to try and save Ornn's life.
and so they're looking for that top tier first turret. Just a little bit more poke on that Aurelia, trying to keep her backed, but he looks like he's going to be backing, cancels it to stay. He's just playing mind games with both us and that Aurelia.
Honestly, like I'm at the edge of my seat. I really thought he was gonna back, and he does
He does
end
end
up
up backing.
backing. Wow, wow.
Incredible.
Honestly, call the LCS.
And so Aurelia does look for that E dash combo, ends up getting the E, but unfortunately Ornn canceled it with his dash, and so he was able to get out of there with only losing a little bit of HP. Cho'Gath starting to get big, getting some stacks on his ultimate, just getting larger in general. And so this might be that soul point for South Sioux City. If they get that Cho'Gath close enough, they're looking for the smite. Okay, good. Gretna got it. That Leona stun onto the Ornn. Leona
Wow.
falls. Malphite in the back line. Malphite done for. Senna just consistently providing cover fire from the back lines,
And it seems like maybe even Zai won't be safe, and they do leave her alone to go
and
get
that
that
was
turret
a
up mid.
4-for-1 in
Hmm.
favor of Gretna once again at the drag pit.
And it really does seem like Gretna has turned the tides. They're 18 to 1. They're almost 6k up in gold. And it looks like they're rotating immediately to go get that Baron, which will give them immense pressure across all lanes.
And so they better hope that they take this fast because the Cho'Gath
Hmm.
is reviving in 2 seconds. And they might, if they steal this, if South Sioux City steals this, then that will be a lot of momentum that Gretna had just thrown away.
Hmm.
It looks like they might be trying to go for it, but
But
Gretna does secure it
and
before
they
anything can
cannot make
happen.
it. That is quite unfortunate.
And so now they have two dragons of the mountain drake, and so that's just a lot of extra armor and just defense that they gain,
Hmm.
while South Sioux City has the
Inferno.
Infernal and the Cloud Drake, giving some extra damage, some CDR, cooldown reduction.
Fast and spicy.
And so South Sioux City looking like 3 top, 1 mid, 1 bot, while Gretna is 1 top, 3 mid, 1 bot. And Malphite looks backing, leaving 2 top. Oh, he's staying in order to try to get a pick onto that Ornn. But as he's keeping it there, the mid first tier turret falls to Gretna. They're looking for the second while they have that Baron buff.
And it just
End up
seems like
getting the second too.
Sioux City was just too busy up top trying to get that, and they just left their mid wide open.
They were looking for the pick but
Hmm.
sacrificed the defense in the mid. And now Ornn actually secured that top first tier as well, and that gives Gretna quite a big lead,
Hmm.
especially in just the gold. They have nearly a 10 gold or 10k gold.
10 gold.
10 gold. They're looking at
That's
10
not even
gold.
a health pod, Caleb.
Uh, yeah.
Man, that's unfortunate.
So
Nearly
looking at
10 gold.
CS, Orn is up 6, up 4 now. And so that one's pretty even. Orn does have a lot more kill participation than the Malphite. So now about 9 to Malphite's 3. And then in the jungle, Rammus is 4 to 8, also quite a bit ahead of Cho'Gath. A little bit more assist, one less kill, but about 8 CS above him.
Exactly. And Victor here, he's at 4, 2, and 5, sitting at 500 gold bounty, 184 CS against Irelia's 194. And it looks like Senna is just trying to get that pick as Victor went down bot and got that second tiered turret. They're just putting immense pressure across the entire map. It just feels like the rotations that Gretna is making are just a lot smoother than those of Sioux City. They're where they need to be when they need to be. Not a moment sooner, not a moment after. They really have turned this around. Santa is also having a big lead over Zaya with 6, 1, and 7, 500 gold bounty, and 190 CS, sitting at almost 40 CS over the Zaya, who is at 2, 5, and 3. While Swain, he has been a big help to his team. Great team fight participation, great kill participation. He's sitting at 3, 3, and 11 with a 150 gold bounty, 19 CS.
So Swain sitting at 3, 3, and 11 has been participating in 14 out of the 18 kills that Gretna does have. And so he has been a major impact, as well as that Senna 617 at about 13 out of 18. Both just the bot lane has been just immense pressure all around. And that's one thing that South Sioux City's bot lane has been lacking, just that extra pressure from the bot lane.
And it seems that this will be soul point for Gretna, and that is a third mountain drake for them, which will give them extra armor and extra just bigger defense.
And so
And
we
it's
saw Victor teleport top. Irelia and Malphite are both there. Ornn ult catches the Cho'Gath, but they don't look, and they do. They do end up
wow.
getting that
And
Cho'Gath.
he is a big boy too, and they just shred him to
hmm
pieces.
That shred
Crazy.
just from the Senna is
Mhm.
giant. She has the Rage Blade and the Rapid Fire Cannon, so she can shoot fast and from far away.
Mhm.
And just staying in that back line is very important for her, being as just squishy as she is, not having much uh,
Exactly.
armor and magic resistance.
And here Zaya is trying to fight it, but she just cannot.
She just
She
gets
just
held
cannot.
off by the Ornn and by the just the threat of Senna too.
Mhm. Ooh, and here Irelia is getting
That's a
caught
four-man
using
ult
ult.
from Malphite. Senna falls, followed closely by Rammus, but they do get the Irelia, the Malphite,
And
and
the
the
Leona.
Xayah. And Leona looks like she might fall here soon. She
Cho'Gath is
does
back up, but
triple
he cannot
for
do
Swain.
anything.
They're still marching down that Cho'Gath, dealing some extra damage. Victor joining the fight, hoping
And
for
it
that final push, that
and it does
4
seem
for
like they can
2.
end here.
This
Are they
might
looking
be
for
the
the
end
end?
of the game.
Cho'Gath is looking to come back in, but he shreds too quickly and
So Victor's going for that, taking some tower aggro, ends up finding that
he
kill on Cho'Gath,
making
looking
the
for the end of
ace.
the game. Irelia is up, Xayah is up now. Malphite and
Leona
Leona
are
are up
up,
as well. They
but
quickly find that Irelia. Ornn destroys the Irelia. They find Ornn, unfortunately, though, and
Victor here
Malphite might be getting the Swain.
But
Swain is
Victor here in
down.
the
Victor
top
looking to
right
keep
is
ending the
looking to
game,
end.
dancing around that. Zonia is the Leona
Ooh,
ult,
Faker is sitting in his seat right now.
but he
It,
does end up getting found.
wow, it was
Zaya did get
close.
the kill
It was a
on
close game.
Victor,
But
but now we
Senna's
have
back up.
Senna and
Rammus is running
Rammus
up
coming
mid
in,
again.
and they left the
The
stream.
game.
They left the game again, and so we don't see the end,
We love
unfortunately.
that. So I'm
But
gonna make up an ending.
I,
Let's make up an ending.
you know what? I would like to do that.
Let's make up an ending. So in my imagination, I would see Senna Rammus running it down mid, but somehow Cho revives. Doesn't know how. Just uses the old revives.
Well, he is on a 3-second timer right
See,
now, so it's
revives.
possible.
He revives. Then who is it? Malphite uses the revive also. Comes back in. They both ult twice in a row in 3 second
Mm,
intervals, but
mm.
it was not enough, unfortunately. So Gretna comes in, Senna ults 3 times in a row, W,
All
Q,
right,
E,
and
and they end the
and
game.
that's game for Gretna. Gretna ends up winning there.
And that makes the scores 5-1 for Gretna and 6-4 for Sioux City. Stay tuned for the next matchup for third place. It will be who won? Third. Who won? We lost. It'll be Skutt versus South Sioux City versus. It'll be Platteview. The next will be Platteview versus South Sioux City. Yes. So sorry for the mix-up.